Hello world and hello dear fans of Mate Debunked. My name is Susanna and I'm the creator of Mate Debunked. How is everyone doing? I think I'm on a little bit of a roll lately and I've been inspired to create a lot more videos recently. I think it's the warmer weather. I don't know. Whatever the reason is, I'm taking advantage of as soon as I get the urge or the feeling to create a video or I have something to say, I know myself well enough now that I have to do it right away, because even if I delay it for a few hours or half a day, it'll probably take a week or 2 weeks before I get that inspiration again. So let's hope that I stay on this trend until I reach my 50, right? Anyways, so to start off with today's video, again, I'd like to share a little bit about just personal observations, just a little bit of insight. So I've recently, well, not recently, I think in the past year, I've gotten into watching Korean dramas, K-dramas. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. I never understood the appeal of them. I never understood why people got obsessed over them. I never understood the whole fandemonium about why the fans go crazy over the lead stars, male or female. But after watching a few of them now, I totally get it. I understand. I am hooked. So it's kind of a dangerous thing, because it you really get into that binge watching craze. And the good thing though is that most of the Korean episodes are usually about 16 or 20 episodes. So it's not like in North America, where a lot of the series have quite a few seasons and every season has a lot of episodes. So, but the reason I'm bringing this up, because I find what's really interesting is when I'm kind of scanning through and deciding which drama or which series I'm going to watch, I oftentimes look at the initial images or the photos, obviously the promotion of the K-drama, and I see the male lead or the female lead. But for me, of course, it's, you know, I take more recognition to the male lead, and I look at their physical appearance as a star, and for me personally, I say to myself, yeah, not someone I would be interested in, not someone that physically appeals to me. But I end up watching the drama or the series based on fan reviews or based on the popularity. And what I notice is usually not in the first episode at least, but I think that by the second or third episode, I'm fully engaged, not just in the storyline, but in the male lead character. And I know that Joanne talked about this, I think, in one of her videos a while back about watching K-dramas. And I've had these discussions with her in her past. But it's not just about as you watch the drama and it's well written and the characters just grow on you. But I realize why we get so drawn to the characters, especially the male characters, because first of all, the storylines, especially if it's romantic, a romantic drama series, it usually is very well written, and well written to the extent that there's usually, I notice that there is a formula with a lot of these K-dramas, certain things that the male lead does, and it's always kind of the same thing, but it draws us in. And what I realize, what are those things that draw us in? It's not because they do big, grand, romantic gestures, but it's usually all the small little things that they do, and it's a lot of thoughtfulness that the character exudes that draws us in. And as an example of some of these, this is it's a formula in K-dramas. When the female wants to leave, but then the male realizes he doesn't want her to leave, and then so she's turning around to leaving, and then he grabs her hand. I don't know why, but that's one of those. It's a typical scene in a lot of those K-dramas, but it's a formula, that's written in the script. But it's those little thoughtful acts or gestures that really, I find that it draws me in. So I can't think of, there's so many, but I've noticed recently there's obviously so as the female wants to leave, he realizes he wants her, and then he just grabs her hand. So it's the hand grabbing, or it's the hand holding, or it's just a close-up shot of the male lead and how they're looking at the female character, right? So again, it really then emphasizes, and it got me thinking, I think when we are looking for romantic partners, or we hear stories about other people in these really romantic relationships, it's not the grand gestures, but it really comes down to the small little things. It's the thoughtfulness. It's the really, really small little, whether it's text messages, little messages, just little things that people say or do for each other when they're thoughtful in the relationship, right? So that's something I've realized, obviously, in the K-dramas, but I then know that it actually applies to real life. So it really is more or less kind of like art imitates life, right? So anyways, just a little something that I've been thinking about, and the reason again why I'm bringing this up, because I think it ties into today's topic a little bit. And without further delay, today's video topic is about it's more so on the relationship side of things, so it's not really on the spiritual soulmate, but the topic is why is he or she not interested, or why did he or she leave? So this topic is obviously applicable to people who have been single for a while, or you have been recently in a relationship, but things have ended, so you're recently single, or you are in a current relationship, but you sense that your partner is losing interest perhaps, or perhaps maybe you yourself are losing interest, right? So I want to bring this up because I think that a lot of us, and I would say maybe even as close to 90%, myself included, when a relationship ends, or when we like someone but the other person is not interested in us, we oftentimes internalize and personalize it, and we say to ourselves, okay, well, I'm a good person, I've got a great personality, I've got a good heart, I have good intentions, I take care of myself, I'm a positive and happy person, I'm doing everything right, so why does this person not like me, or why is this person not interested? I think I'm a total catch, so why is this person not interested? And we internalize it and we personalize it, and I think we end up getting to a point where we really beat ourselves up over it, about what we've done wrong or what we could have done better, and so on and so on. And I think it also, because when that happens, it triggers feelings of shame, of perhaps that we're not worthy enough, or it triggers feelings of abandonment, you know, when someone when someone leaves us or when the relationship ends. So it does trigger a lot of deep-rooted feelings that they could be karmic trauma from the past, and obviously life lessons or current issues that we need to deal with. But I don't want to get into too in-depth on that side of things for this video topic. But again, when things like that happen, we always take the blame on ourselves, and we internalize and we personalize it. So first of all, I'm here to tell you right now, first and foremost, stop that. Let's promise ourselves and let's put a stop to all of that negative self-talk about how it is our fault or that we could have, should have done better. Let's stop blaming ourselves. Let's stop fixating on how we could have done better to improve ourselves for that person or the relationship. And let's just stop over analyzing. Because I get that there are sometimes the very surface aspects as to why the person is not interested or why they left you in the relationship. And what I mean by the surface side of things, maybe it's because whether it's family reasons or friends or career or money, or it could be something as shallow as, you know, them basing you on or assessing or evaluating you based on looks. Okay, so I'm not here to address those really kind of superficial and very simple excuses for why, because those are, if someone, let's just, my opinion, if someone leaves you or if they're not interested in you based on those superficial, really kind of excuses, then you know what? Totally forget them. Forget it. Because that is, in my mind, way too shallow. Okay, so let's dispense with all of those kind of excuses. But what I'm here to talk about today is more so some of the other reasons why that person left or why they're not interested. And these reasons all have nothing to do with you. So what I really want to say and address as kind of the overall theme of this video topic, if someone is not interested in you or they left you, it is not your fault, okay? Let's stop blaming ourselves and let's stop personalizing it and internalizing it and overanalyzing it. Now, I'm not to say that, you know, if you are in a relationship and it ends, that it's not your fault. I mean, sure, oftentimes there's equal responsibility of things that could have been done by both parties to make it better, right? But I think I want to address it more so from this perspective of not if a relationship ends, because that could be a whole other series of video topics. There's so much in depth to that, so many other reasons to analyze that. But let's just stick with the more so of why someone is not interested in you. So aside from, you know, them not having any common interest or hobbies, or you just don't have that connection with them, or maybe they're, you know, it's a long distance relationship, I'm going to dig into what I think are about 5 or 6 reasons why someone may not be interested in you, okay? So number one, and I'm going to speak from the perspective of, let's just say, a female, and as to why a male is not interested. And my apologies, because that's definitely not always the case, but I think it just in terms of the terminology, and in case if I slip up between the he and she, that's why. But number one, they may not be interested in you simply because a relationship terrifies them. Maybe they're just not ready to, it's not about them not ready to be in a relationship or commitment, but it's something else. There's something else that terrifies them, and they're just not ready to hold it safe. They may have feelings for you, they may have good intentions for you, but they're not ready to enter that sacred space of love and to be able to hold it and keep it safe. Okay? So that's reason number one. So it terrifies them, basically. Number two, sometimes if they feel that they could be potentially falling in love with you, or it could be potentially a serious committed relationship, sometimes people are not ready to enter into that type of a union because perhaps you or the relationship could be so good and pure, for example, that connection actually shines a bright light on all their dark places, if that makes sense. And so if it shines a light on their dark places, chances are they're not ready to work through them. And a lot of those issues that they have about being in a relationship or about having to give unconditionally or whatever it is, but basically it shines a connection in their dark place, and sometimes people are not ready to come out and deal with those issues yet. So it does tie in with number one as well, that it terrifies them. Okay, so reason number three, sometimes they're just personally not ready to merge or be in a union with someone else. And it's not a selfish thing. It's not anything negative, but perhaps they know somehow that they need to work on themselves individually first, or that they need to do a lot of self-improvement or self-reflection or a lot of self-healing first. So they're just not ready to be in a relationship with someone because they need to work on themselves individually. Okay. Reason number four, maybe love is just not a priority for them. Being in a relationship and loving someone, or potentially loving someone, is just not a priority for them. Now, I don't mean that again in a negative way, but again, these all tie in together somehow. But maybe love is not a priority for them because that is not the journey that they want to go through yet at that time in their life. So maybe their journey is about in their individual self, about learning to love and heal themselves, about exploring their own interests and going on their own personal journey first. Okay, so number five is that, and this is actually a bit of the kind of, I think, the more superficial aspect of it, that sometimes people maybe prefer a more practical rather than conscious-minded relationship. So when I mean practical, is that the relationship does not change or threaten the way they organize, or that they organize or go through the reality of their current life right now. So it's not to say that they have certain habits and they don't want you or the relationship to disrupt their habits. But it's more so that it's on a very practical level for them. It works for the time being, and they're not ready to enter into that more conscious, spiritual, even for that matter, state of mind for the relationship. They do like things that are much more on just a practical level. Okay, so, and finally, number six is that perhaps that person knows their limits at the time, and that we don't know what their limits are. And so they know that their limits of what they can give of themselves, and they don't want to, they know that by being in a relationship or being interested in you or pursuing you, that would exceed what they're currently capable of giving at the time being. So I think to wrap up all of that in a nice package, a lot of those breakdowns that I've provided as reasons why someone may not be interested in you, the overall theme of all of those is that they need to do a lot of self-discovery, self-love, self-healing, a lot of the individual journey that they need to go through for the time being. So we of course never know what happens behind closed door. We never, not one person, regardless of what kind of relationship you are in, can ever truly understand what someone else is going through, or what they're thinking, or what their soul mission is. And so if someone is not interested in you, then they need to work on themselves. So likewise, keep working on yourself, keep improving on yourself, keep up with your self-love, and never internalize or personalize why someone is not interested, and never blame it on your own worthiness of what you could have done or should have done better. Okay, so oh gosh, this video is getting up to 22 minutes. I'm gonna try to wrap this up now. So I hope that helps for today. And again, I think with some of these video topics that I've created, some of them do deserve a part 2, and I will get to them. But at the end of the day, with a lot of my videos, it's always about you working on yourself and self-love, and the right person when the time is right. Even though if this person is not interested in you at this time, if they are the right person and they are meant to be in your life, they will come around. You have to have trust in the universe and in the grand scheme and plans that things will work out in your favor. Okay, so right now, if you're watching this on Facebook, please subscribe to my YouTube page. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. So thank you again for joining, and I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, and we will see you soon. I'm going to try to get more of these in now, more frequently. So have a wonderful day, and take care. Lots of love. Bye for now.